Hey everyone, JL from the Week in Horror podcast here. Now, normally, I'm hard at work on the next episode of Week in Horror, or I'm debating theists and other woo believers on other people's channels, but I've never really taken the time to make my own YouTube content, so welcome to my first video. I recently subscribed to YouTube content creator Prime Red. If you're not familiar with his work, go check him out. He's a seriously funny fucking dude. Prime Red recently put out a video taking a big swing at flat earther and general bullshit artist Joshua Michael Gennari, aka JM Truth. And his short film, Superman Judgment. Now, usually, I wouldn't give two shits about a jackass Poe like JM Truth, his bonkers fucking beliefs, or his bullshit degree mill nonsense. But JM fancies himself a filmmaker, and a master one at that. Now, he shot a couple of music videos.
The ones that are surrounding me. I've been on my shit, roll up my sleeves, I got tricks.
Fire. A seriously terrible zombie short.
So, you're just gonna gun down your friends, huh?
As well as this little DC treat that we'll be looking at today. But mostly, he's just shooting himself.
Science. Science is physics, biology, chemistry, biochemistry,
In the foot.
Hey, so this rocket landed in the exact same place it took off from, correct?
No, it didn't.
Wait,
No, fuck me.
And then sticking that foot in his mouth.
I've been studying health for years, bro. So yeah, actually, I do.
Good for you. Now go publish a paper, win a Nobel Prize.
I don't need a Nobel Prize.
I don't care if you need one. You need the credibility, because as far as I can tell, you're just a crackpot making stuff up.
I have a graduate degree. My credibility is far above yours.
Much to the delight of the entire debunking community.
right.
I think I'm dying.
Here's the deal, guys. So this was 9 miles away. Okay, no.
I can't. What the fuck?
Oh dear me.
Oh, holy fuck.
But when I heard about JM Truth's fan film, I had to take a closer look. And I do mean a seriously closer look. Because if you're watching this, JM, I actually am a filmmaker, and I have been for some time. And given your claims of mastery, I had to see if your work actually reflects that. So now, we're going to take a look at JM's Superman Vengeance, or what I like to call, How Not to Make a Movie. First, we can obviously see that JM was working with an extremely minimal budget. Now, normally, that would be okay. Not everybody has the disposable income to just shoot movies left and right. But lack of financing is no excuse for a lack of planning. Meticulous planning and bringing in talented individuals who can bring many things to your table can solve many of the problems that you run into when shooting on a no or shoestring budget. And while there are many, many examples of where the extreme lack of planning and imagination hurt JM's production, we're going to focus on the primary 5: writing, direction, cinematography, art direction, and pre-post production. Here we go. I can understand altering the key of the Superman theme here, to make it your own, but it just doesn't work, which is why no one does it. I am not even going to comment on the fact that a self-professed flat earther has made use of a spherical earth. Don't worry, JM. I won't tell anyone you sold out your beliefs for your audience. There are a few problems with these opening graphics. 1, the age. 2, design. And 3, the rendering. There are better packages available for free online, JM. Get your shit together if you want your stuff to look better than the next expansion for Command & Conquer 2. That font is not industry standard. And is government misspelled? A little issue here. The Superman chevron is not directly centered on the screen, which means that the opening crawl cannot sweep over the chevron with any degree of symmetry. Amateur mistake. Just for fun, I inputted the entire opening crawl into Grammarly, and it came back with like 5 mistakes. Always proofread, JM. 5 seconds in and we already have issues, the most egregious of which are sound, lighting, and camera. Of these 3, sound will be the first to break your production. The ambient wind and traffic, combined with the crunching of the gravel underneath the actor's feet, will all distract from the focus of the scene, which is the agents. As the audience, this is the first time I'm seeing these characters. I have to be able to discern things about them and how they could possibly play into the story. A rookie mistake is to automatically think that ambient sound can reinforce realism, but this simply isn't always the case. Lav mics or a boomed unidirectional mic with appropriate angling would have solved the problem here. Secondly, lighting. We can see that the mid-ground agent is completely overblown. His shirt actually blends into his skin. Before shooting, it's extremely important to identify any hotspots or zebras when you see them, and immediately diffuse them or re-angle the camera so as to avoid them completely. Industry tip. We call them zebras because of the stripes they make when using the zebra pattern overlay on your camera to indicate your exposure levels. If the camera doesn't have that function, a light meter will also work. If you can't afford a light meter, just look through the camera and indicate where the hottest spots you can see are. Typically, where the light is strongest, it will flare out and be totally white. Adjust the camera as necessary. Mistakes like this indicate an extreme lack of planning, which is paramount, especially when working outdoors and the sun is a variable that you cannot control. Third is the camera itself. When shooting handheld, it's very important, unless you're shooting found footage, to keep the camera as still as possible, especially during establishing scenes. Unnecessary movement will disengage the audience, as that movement will make them aware of the camera and shatter the fourth wall. And lastly, I don't know what the hell that thing is behind the car. Is it a mailbox? Whatever it is, it's distracting. Shouldn't have been there. No symmetry in this shot at all, and the color correction is atrocious.
I want you to make sure you show proper respect to Mr. Kent.
I'll show proper respect to Mr. Kent. Just want to make sure Mr. Kent shows proper respect to the badge.
Sound, again. Always check your levels and your ambient. Every take.
Mr. Kent, I'm Agent Henshaw. This is Agent Craig.
Federal agents introducing themselves without their badges? Seems odd.
Figures.
Little melodramatic. And oh, the echo on that voice. Lazy ADR jam.
What can I do for you boys? Mr. Kent, as you might be aware, the conflict between our country and the New Liberation Army is at a pivotal point. Talks have broken down, and we believe they're on the verge of obtaining nuclear materials.
Shaky camera work again. Dollying can be challenging and rather expensive, so if you can't afford the standard dolly tracks, some curved PVC pipes and a half circle with the tripod set on shoes with skateboard trucks and a little WD-40 will make a great DIY dolly track. You can find instructions on how to build one online.
Nuclear materials.
What's the guy do with me? Mr. Kent, the government is aware of your special abilities.
Plan your shots. I know that sometimes the urge to get creative can strike in the middle of a scene, but until you have what you've planned, don't go off script. Get the take, Then get creative on an A, B, or C shot. This is why we storyboard.
And we need your assistance in helping us bring some things under control.
Your assistance would be invaluable.
No, it won't.
Still overblown, too quiet, and way, way, way too much ambient noise.
If you refuse this offer, you'll be in direct violation of Article 5150 of the Patriot Act of 2035.
This is 2035? And federal agents are still wearing polyblends? Well, it is the government.
Exile, imprisonment, death.
You just threatened to kill Superman. That's rich.
Those are definitely in your future, Mr. Kent, if you refuse this offer.
Exile? I'm already in exile.
Wow, that got dark, and I am not talking about the plot. Once again, the importance of planning out your shots in your chosen locations. You don't have light stands? A $20 500-watt work light from Home Depot will solve that problem. Don't have any diffusers? Layers of wax paper will easily make a great diffuser. Don't have any reflectors? The shiny side of tinfoil will solve that problem. You have to think on your feet, JM.
Mr. Kent, we don't mean for this to come across as a threat. We just need your assistance in this simple matter. We have it on highest authority that the no power sanction could...
Fuck, JM. Make sure your talons are off book. When they aren't, you get weird exchanges like this thing at the porch. So why is the angry agent fidgeting all over the place? JM, take control of your set. This is not his scene. You tell him to keep still.
Rap the gavel, all my sins will be forgiven.
Except for the part about being a traitor.
And it's bright again. Oh wait, that's an artificial punch-in. Lazy maneuver, and you're going to see these all throughout the production. JM, take your time. Get your fucking close-ups.
Yeah.
You ever been to the moon?
No.
Talk to me like that again.
Okay, listen,
Agent Grant, that might be the worst idea you ever had.
Lots of weird height changes here. Stuff like this can hurt your continuity. Watch your sight lines. It looks as if Superman is rising and falling throughout the scene.
If you could take our card, maybe give us a call in the morning.
I will.
Mumbling Superman? Not good.
Took the gloves.
I don't like to get my hands dirty.
Okay, so we have a serious problem with logic and writing here. The angry agent snarks off with a comment about Clark wearing his gloves, and Clark quips back, "I don't like to get my hands dirty." This is a wasted opportunity between these characters. Whenever indicating an intimate moment, it's better to handle it with a close-up, as it sells the intimacy of that moment. Also, for logic's sake, it's pretty important to have the people who are whispering about one of your characters do it a distance away from that character, especially when he has super fucking hearing. And never have your main character deliver a line that's supposed to demonstrate his dominance off camera. So many missed opportunities here. All you had to do was shoot a few tight scenes, tight shots on those characters, and you would have solved all these problems. Continuity again. That is not the front door that he walked in. Little details like this will degrade your film.
Let's just say a very ungrateful little birdie told me that the feds would be here.
How is Dick?
That just about covers it.
This is a bad joke. And if you're referencing points that actually occur in the comics, make sure your Superman fans know which ones you're citing, because they're often repeated. This is solely a writer's issue. Know your subject intimately. How the fuck else can you write about it? Is it Christmas in here? Because it sure as hell wasn't outside. This is an art department failure. Always make sure your art department head and your cinematographer are aligned on a shot before you proceed with shooting.
Better term. Now you swoop in, they use the weapon, you're dead, and the weapon's gone.
Weird light shift on Bruce. Poor planning.
In, they use the weapon, you're dead, and the weapon's gone.
Here we see that JM did not shoot these scenes in the smartest way, which is to shoot your wide shot of Superman and Bruce, then shoot all of Superman's lines, then all of Bruce's lines, then your pickups or cutaways or creative shots. When your camera keeps changing places, and you obviously haven't written down your focal lengths or your zoom settings, or even spiked your tripod, it's nearly impossible to recreate a shot from memory. Set your tripod and leave it until you're done with that take. Make sure your talent maintains their eye lines. These can distract in anything tighter than a cowboy.
Why do they want you to fight them?
Flying scene. Yes, I know it can't be helped, but your camera guy should have been watching for that. Take 2.
Why do they want you to fight them?
I give up. You tell me, detective.
Hang on. I thought Clark was an investigative journalist. Would he really need Batman's help to figure out what the government wanted to do here? Know your characters.
Beat the hell out of them until they piss themselves comes to mind. There you go, pal. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Is this supposed to be future Batman? Because he's a little on the snarky side for his later years. Pay attention, writer. These are beloved icons. Treat them with respect. Unless you indicate that this is an Elseworld story, which you did not.
True. But who knew you would live this long? Alone? On the farm?
Farm? The Kents were produce and dairy farmers. Where's the corn, the wheat, the sorghum? Where are the fucking cows?
I need to think.
Some really strange actor choices here with nuance and line delivery. I would have reshot these to get some better options.
But that's just me.
Ugh, Batman is better than this. Okay, so Bruce snuck in with the cane, but then he left without the cane? Was he ever really there? Was Clark just talking to himself? Well, I assume that JM was playing on the Batman trope of his vanish routine. There are a lot of things missed here. For example, suddenly the couch is lit better. Where was that lighting when Bruce was sitting on it? And now all of a sudden Clark is leaving and the editing is just terrible. Not to mention, Clark has super hearing, and he has literally no reaction to Batman's vanish routine, something he hasn't seen in years. Wouldn't that be something he'd reflect on, as something he probably missed about Bruce? Lots of questions and assumptions here, which is something you do not want your audience to have with characters as established as these. A zooming fade out, and you can't even keep your camera steady? Way to go, Kubrick. Okay, someone jumping out of frame to indicate flight. I can somewhat forgive this for budget constraints. It still looks like shit. Oh, what the fuck was that Foley? Is that supposed to be a sonic boom? Him landing? Wind over the mic? Come on, JM, a little Google foo, and you can get a library of appropriate Foleys to just drop into your production. Just make sure that your mixer knows what the fuck they're doing. More bad handheld. This is supposed to be an emotional moment, and you can't even show the gravestone? Fake custom gravestones are cheap. Look into it. You could even make one yourself.
I pass judgment on Kal-El.
Oh, what the fuck is that thing?
You will no longer be allowed to use your superpowers on American soil. This includes, but is not limited to, your speed, strength, flight, and any other power that is deemed super by this order. In short, the no tights, no flights rule is in effect.
Okay, the dialogue here is atrocious, and atrociously delivered. And I'm not sure any government official would want the words no tights, no flights on the official court record.
I just want to say goodbye, Lois.
I can't hear you, Clark. I know you said Lois, but it took me like 3 tries to hear you. Now, where did that rose come from? And you only brought one? This Kal-El is a dick. JM, continuity is so important in a film. Your sound, your art department, and your writing have really dropped the ball here.
My entire life has been dedicated to doing what I thought was right.
Apparently, Clark is a terrible farmer. Martha and Jonathan didn't teach him shit.
To be in the service of man. Holding all those I love in arms.
Fuck JM, lighting.
I would without. No more.
Be careful when using Spirit Halloween costumes as props. No matter how much your actor stretches them out, it's really fucking obvious. What the actual fuck? Come on, JM. I know that you were low on budget, but you're shooting a Superman fan film, which means a good portion of what you can spend should go to costume. A plastic Superman chevron hot glued to a Lycra bodysuit? Surely you could do better than that. Or maybe you can't. And where exactly is Clark in this scene? Suddenly he went from the farmhouse to this blank room with only red and blue light. Illogical scene movement is so painful. Once again, planning.
I have seen what evil people are capable of. Death and destruction.
I'm finally going to say it. This choice for Superman is weak as fuck. JM, I don't know how you justified trading Superman's arms for a midlife crisis muffin top. Ensuring your framing is also very important. When you lack symmetry, you lack harmony. Make sure that the subject of your focal point is centered before you begin dialogue. While it's not technically a deal breaker for the audience, it's a costly rookie mistake and very, very obvious. Now, you learn this stuff in basic film school. Did you go to film school, JM? Well, if you can't afford it, try the Masterclass series. You know, so no one will get in the way of your ego while you learn.
Right, 4.
That chevron in his chest is killing me. What the fuck is on your feet, Soups? I don't want to know.
So be it.
Oh, bad overlay on the eyes. Come on, JM. Check your work before you render everything. Especially if you can't stabilize your fucking camera to keep the image from moving around under the overlay.
I'll be the...
Pointless ratio change.
I'll be the judge.
Right, so is he the Eradicator? Is that where you're going with this? What the fuck is on that desk? Oh, it's JM himself. I kid, but shitty fucking hollow projector. I will actually say JM looks better bald, but shave that pubic mound you got growing on your chin. That shit's nasty.
Senator, we met with Mr. Kent.
Lex Luthor was never a senator. He went straight to the White House 3 times. Know your characters. Sightlines again, JM. Your hologram is looking off to the left while you're looking straight ahead.
You don't get paid.
You know, that community center you're shooting in gets some pretty good echo. Or your sound department is shit. I'm going with the latter. Word to the wise, ambient buzz should be removed in post. There's no E in Luthor, dumbass. There's that font again. And be sure there's no typos in your credits. And you really don't need to overinflate your credits to make them seem larger than they are. Many of these could have been bundled up into one. But blatant dishonesty is kind of your gig, isn't it, JM? Ah, the one thing you got right. Folly. Folly is right, JM. Hey, it's that globe that JM doesn't believe in. Well, JM, it looks like you still have a lot to learn about filmmaking, which is strange because you've said multiple times that you're a master videographer and a filmmaker. Now, I know sometimes we can overinflate our abilities, especially when on set, but seriously, after watching Superman Vengeance, I understand now why you've had 3 production companies instead of one that lasted. And that's going to wrap up this look at Joshua Gennari's Superman Vengeance, or JM Truth's How Not to Make a Movie. I'm JL from Week in Horror. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my first vid, and I hope you can forgive the technical issues as I'm still kind of figuring it out. Now, I don't know if I'll be making content regularly, as my responsibilities at Week in Horror keep me pretty busy, but if I see something really interesting, I may take a swing at it. I'd like to give a special thank you to every single member of the debunking community who have welcomed me with open arms and opened the door for me to try my hand at this. You guys are fucking awesome. All the love. We'll see you next time.